Hi everyone, it's FinanceFeeds here at iFX Expo Asia in Bangkok. I'm joined now by James Alexander, who's Chief Commercial Officer at Invaz Global, or should I say 26 Degrees. James, welcome. Thanks for joining us. It's great to see you.
Likewise, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so we're in Bangkok, obviously a different vibe than some of our other conferences and events that we attend across the world. Some of you viewers might notice a little bit of a clubby atmosphere here with a little bit of oots going on.
Not to mention the drones circling overhead inside.
And the drone circling overhead inside the expo hall. So definitely a bit of a different perspective this time. James, I wanted to jump right in.
Yep.
Let's get right into it. Invaz Global came out with some big news last Friday.
Yeah.
You guys have rebranded to 26 Degrees. Tell us why.
Very exciting, and thanks for the question. So I guess what we started to realize is, as we reflected on our now 10-year journey, that we looked at where we come from, our Japanese parent company, our lineage, our history, all of which we're immensely proud of. And we started thinking about the future more and more, where we wanted to continue to take the company, where we thought our strategic focuses would lie. And what became really clear to us is the areas that we've had the greatest success and where we've enjoyed the most, rewarding client relationships are really in that broker segment and the emerging hedge fund market. So those two segments are where we've seen traditionally the greatest successes, both from a professional and a personal perspective. And we thought that we'd take this opportunity to really refocus our business, refocus the brand, to be something that is unique, but also highly accessible to both brokers and hedge funds. This rebrand is really, I guess, a refocus for us on our core strengths, the brokerage market, the broker-dealer market, and that small to medium hedge fund market, which we're very excited to continue serving, and we think this rebrand really, I guess, focuses our energy and our effort back onto those two core segments for us.
Great. And you mentioned 2013, right? The company's founding or start of business.
Yeah.
So did the 10-year anniversary also sort of have anything to do with it? Sort of like a culmination event, sort of?
I think it was very much a human reflection point. 10 years, it's a decade. The core management team, from Gavin White, the CEO, to myself, Bill Rahman and others, we sort of took this as an opportunity to look back. And in looking back, we really sort of sought further clarity in terms of looking forward. And this, I guess, moment was just a very human 10 years. There's been a core team working very, very hard to bring the business forward. And, we've had some client relationships that have lasted the entire tenure of that 10 years, which in our space is absolutely amazing and which I'm personally very, very proud of.
Yeah.
But it was just that very human milestone of, it's a decade now, where do we want to take ourselves into the future, and really positioning the business for scale in every sense. And when we thought about the areas where we wanted to continue to scale, we thought the best place to start was with the name and the brand.
So you mentioned, that this is possibly a great opportunity, especially, or a global opportunity, especially with, the changes taking place in the prime services industry. Just how big of an opportunity do you think this is, all things considered?
Look, it's been our view for a long time that the prime brokerage market was going to face significant changes. Headwinds in many respects, but also opportunities in others. If you look back historically, some of the regulations that have been rolled out, specifically things like Basel III and in the future Basel IV, these are going to present ongoing real-world challenges for PBs. In the last 24 months, we've seen the exit of Jefferies Prime Broking, we've seen the exit of Credit Suisse, which is absolutely enormous.
And we've discussed that previously,
And the reverberations of that particular exit are still being felt today, both in the prime broking space and in the liquidity space. I was having some great conversations here just last night at the opening drinks with a number of liquidity managers about the impact that Credit Suisse exiting the liquidity space might have on this market. And they're not small. So I think this is something that we are going to continue to see play out. We, by virtue of strong balance sheet, listed parent company in our lineage, have been very blessed to access the prime brokers that we have access to. We've got 4 prime brokers that we access and use as a panel, but we do know that a number of our clients who have traditionally wanted to access Tier 1 PBs are really struggling, more so than ever, to do that.
I see.
Prime brokers are becoming more conservative in their risk appetites, and they're being more discerning with who they onboard and the type of entities they onboard. This is something we've sort of anticipated and suspected has been playing out for some time, and we're really seeing it. And we're not just seeing it, we're seeing it accelerate. So we don't think that this is just an opportunity that exists today in the present market.
Yeah.
We think this is an opportunity that's going to continue for likely many decades to come, and that's where we're really looking to scale our business for the long term, and this is just step one.
Just one of the stepping stones. Great.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, what does this change mean to your specifically existing and prospective broker clients? I mean, really, with the rebrand, but also some of these challenges that you and I have discussed last year, and that are ongoing and are going to happen in the future as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll touch on the rebrand specifically to start. And the shortest answer I can possibly give is, for our existing clients, both broker-dealers and hedge funds, the practical change right now is nothing at all. It's business as usual. We will continue to focus on serving them, and as a matter of fact, what this really represents is a refined focus on serving them more fully and with better resourcing, and from a number of additional jurisdictions which we're stepping into and setting up offices right now as we speak. All of these things really speak to wanting to put high quality resources to serve our clients in those key jurisdictions. Markets like Tokyo, markets like London, markets like Cyprus, where we've got a significant concentration of both broker-dealer and hedge fund clients. So in the short term, not a lot. Over the longer term, we really think that this focus is going to, I guess, drive more resourcing internally towards building products and services that continue to serve our broker-dealers. So practical example of that is, traditionally we've always been a bilateral counterparty to our clients, whereas for our broker-dealers now, we will be very shortly releasing for select and strategic clients the ability to give up trades from our PB to their PB network. So really entering into that give up space for the first time, which is not something we've traditionally offered to our broker-dealer clients. Also, with respect to things that our clients should expect from us, a renewed focus on the deployment and investment in further technologies, resiliency, redundancy, all those key things. This is just a refining of the focus. More broadly, I think our broker-dealer clients and hedge fund clients in particular, guys with assets under management of say less than 100 or 200 million in AUM or in sort of balance sheet, are really going to struggle to onboard with PBs, which has traditionally meant that the prime broker market has been sort of off limits, so to speak, for certain customer segments. Hence the need in many cases for a prime of prime who can step in as an intermediary, provide access to credit, etc. Now, what's interesting is even the prime of prime space is undergoing disruption. It's not just the tier ones, it's also the prime of primes. So at a time when the industry has needed prime of primes more than ever, I think that the landscape in the prime of primes is shifting. Risk appetites are shifting, balance sheets are shifting, and I think the focus is shifting. And for us, when we see some of our peers and some of our competitors maybe, in our opinion, losing a little bit of focus, we wanted to send a clear message to market that we are here, we are strong, we are here 10 years now, and our focus has never been more laser-like on you, our brokers and hedge fund clients. So that, I think, is what we can expect in the foreseeable future.
Great. That sounds awesome. And the name specifically, I'm just curious, why 26 degrees? And I guess my question is, who provided the input? Was it a combination of different teams around the world in different offices? Was it Gavin? Was it existing clients? Did you send out a survey?
We did not send out a survey.
I don't know.
Look, there's always, as with these sorts of things, there's always broad input from the team. There was broad input from our broader management team. Gavin White, our CEO, obviously has a strong hand in all of these conversations. He's very passionate about the business and the brand. Of course he is, he's the CEO. But we've had buy-in all the way from our owner in Japan, Takeshi Kawaji, who remains our owner, through the Invast holding company, the listed company. But he's very supportive of this change. Why 26 degrees? It's a bit of an interesting one. So, as I mentioned before, our history, our lineage is through that listed Japanese parent company. But as we become a truly global brand and we establish our own offices in London, Cyprus, Japan, under our own 26 26 Degrees brand. What we really wanted to do was reflect a little bit more of our Australianness, and the fact that, for the last 10 years, really what we've done is we've built a global business from Australia, which is not unique, but it's not that common either. And I think the new brand really reflects our open Australian nature. 26 Degrees is actually the 26th parallel that runs through Australia. It's the widest point of Australia, exiting the west coast of the Ningaloo Reef. And really what we were trying to reflect there is the breadth of both our country and the breadth of our engagement globally. And I think it's a really nice, simple way of distilling that down. Remembering also that a number of our clients don't necessarily have English as their first language.
I see.
So in some of our key strategic markets like South Korea, like Japan, and elsewhere, English is a second language for those people. And for many of our customers, having a numerical name, 26 Degrees, which is immediately recognizable, had a lot of benefit and a lot of cut through. And I think from all the feedback thus far, just in the last few days at iFX here in Thailand, it's been very well received. So, but it is an interesting question. 26th parallel, that's how we got there.
Well, when I first saw the name, that's the first thing that kind of came to my mind is some sort of a longitude, sort of we're speaking about that. And I think, with what you described in terms of kind of how does the new brand reflect, the company and what you've been able to do over the last 10 years, I think is great. Your point about, focusing a little bit more or telling the market about sort of your experience and building the business in Australia, I think is actually very important because I feel like in our industry, perhaps businesses that are founded and or operate in Australia are oftentimes just the industry in Australia is a little bit maybe overlooked. We have, you have New York, you have London, you have Tokyo, you have the major financial centers that we're all used to, in our space. And Australia obviously has a very clear regulatory regime. It's been, it's been a market for over 20 years, I think, for electronic trading, right? Which makes total sense, of course.
And there's another really, I guess, qualitative benefit for setting up a business in Australia, and this is not a plug for Australia per se, but one thing that has absolutely benefited our business is the multicultural nature of Australia. We're able to bring in a lot of different cultures, people, perspectives, and that has certainly helped us expand on a global scale, where you have to understand the cultural sensitivities. I think we've got a fantastic education system. The strength of our business is really built on some of our younger workers, our junior workers. I mean, we bring in a lot of really high quality interns, some of universally medalists, some incredibly smart men and women, and we bring them into our business, and it's their smarts and skills that have really allowed us to scale. So I think that multicultural nature, a great education system, and the fact that Australians by their nature, by their outlook, are quite relaxed. I think that when you are really trying to build a business globally and you are having to engage with a whole lot of different cultural types, being relaxed and a little bit diffusive in those conversations really tends to help foster strong relationships. We try very hard proactively to really relate to our clients on a very human level. We like to work with clients that we like to work with. And I constantly say to our business development team, if you can find people that you can have a great conversation with, they can be a great client for us. The conversation is the starting point for every good relationship, and I think we've really benefited from that with our background and our staff that we've been able to attract in Australia. So that's been, I guess, one of the secret sources to our success.
Great, awesome. Well, James, we wanted to thank you for taking the time to speak with us. Good luck on this new step of the journey. It's definitely very exciting, and it's very exciting to find out a little bit more of some of these other new regional developments that are coming up as you travel around the world and kind of continue expanding and things like that. So it would be great to touch base with you guys in the next few months as well, kind of see how things are going, and welcome to 26 Degrees.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, James.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Bye.